The man was unfortunately hit and sent flying by a car. When he regained consciousness, he had become a sword. What entered his vision was a cat-eared girl. No, that's not right. To be precise, it was a glob of goblin spit. At that moment, a group of goblin brothers were trying hard to pull him out. Obviously, this sword in the wilderness made them very curious. This instantly made the protagonist somewhat intolerable. Rage enabled him to learn how to fly on his own. He immediately killed the goblin who was pulling at him like a carrot. The others wanted to resist, but unfortunately, the protagonist was simply too agile. The sharp blade of the sword cut through them like tofu. They couldn't withstand even a single strike. After killing all the goblins, a system notification suddenly sounded. Congratulations to the protagonist for obtaining 6 skills, and the pattern was in threes. The familiar numbers caught the protagonist's attention, because when he was killing the goblins, he glowed a total of 3 times, and the impact at that time felt like hitting rocks. Thinking about this, the protagonist decided to start experimenting. He began randomly stabbing at the corpses, until he cut through a hard lump. The sword body glowed once again. He gained 2 more new skills. After several attempts, the protagonist came to a conclusion. Every monster had magic stones within their bodies. Breaking these not only allowed him to obtain the creature's unique skills, but also increased his magic stone value. Regarding the latter, he currently had no clue. Perhaps only when the magic stone value reached 100 would it manifest. To repay the goblin brothers for their guidance, the protagonist used his newly acquired digging skill as a tribute. As for becoming a sword, he didn't feel dissatisfied. On the contrary, he wanted to become the strongest sword. The next day, the protagonist took action. He actually had an initial skill from the start, telekinesis, which originally allowed him to fly. However, currently he could only fly for 3 minutes. The jellyfish below was his first true battle. A level 5 jellyfish was not comparable to the level 2 goblins. Before he could react, he was entangled. His mana was also absorbed over time, but of all things to entangle, it chose to entangle his sharp self. This was nothing short of self-destruction. Soon the protagonist acquired 2 skills, namely mana absorption and floating. Surprisingly, floating and his telekinesis could form a perfect combination. This instantly extended his flight time by 5 times. While his efficiency improved, his magic stone value finally reached 100. Congratulations to the protagonist for obtaining 10 self-evolution points. He could choose to increase certain ability values. Every 5 points could be used for 1 upgrade. The protagonist allocated them to attack power and mana capacity. Becoming stronger gave him a strange sense of satisfaction. Afterwards, he once again set his sights on goblins. Their diverse varieties also meant there would be all kinds of skills. After all, among goblins there were warriors, mages, and all sorts. Several days passed in a flash. His opponents had already upgraded to dragons. The more powerful the magical beast, the more magic stone value would be obtained, so he was gradually challenging stronger beings.